I am Chocolate Milk, welcoming you all back to Lost Odyssey. We're just in Cooke and Mack's house now as we are getting ready to leave after we just had the funeral here, and we're going to loot their house for a few items. Now mind you, they don't have much. There's 3 items to loot upstairs, the save point there if you wish to save, and then there's actually a pot that I've forgotten in this video tucked next to the table. If you can't see it there. And Cooke is going to tell us that our next destination is the Crimson Forest. That's where Mack has gone to go and look for his dead mother. So we can go right through Ghost Town. We've already looted the whole place, and there's not really anything for us to get. Walked into a wall, that was smart of me. But as you approach the end of Ghost Town, Kaim will remember another dream here. So that's the only other thing to do in Ghost Town. And this dream is Evening Bell, and that will be uploaded later on, as always. So with that being said, we're just going to leave Ghost Town and head on back to Numara. Now that we're at the port, we walk forward and there's some scenes here. Those are some big tanks. They could probably do some really serious damage, or so I would assume.
Apparently not. Damn, they must be planning to invade Ura.
And then we get more foreshadowing on the war aspect that Tolton and Gungora were talking about ages ago. But once that's over, there's another save point there if you wish to save, and then you're just going to go to the right of the screen all the way. It'll take a while to load, because it's going to load up all the new locations that we can go to. But we are, of course, going to just go straight to the Crimson Forest. And just get this place over and done with.
Wow, it really is crimson.
Well, I overheard in town that there's a reason this forest has been crimson for years.
Isn't it just the color of autumn leaves? Although, it is incredibly intense. The reason the Queen forbade entry was because the Crimson Forest is cursed, stained with blood.
And this forest is really pretty. Although it has a pretty cool story behind it, it's also a really beautiful area to walk through.
It was 500 years ago, wasn't it?
Huh?
Like any good RPG, the game designers had to put a forest in the game or else it would not be an RPG.
A country to the east invaded Numara.
It's almost like it's mandatory.
The color of the blood from those who fell in that battle. Who knows how many thousands of forgotten soldiers lie beneath the soil, staining this forest red for eternity.
Alright, now that that's done, we can actually start. To the left of the save point here, I'm going to kick over this flower for a Crystal Fragment. Now, remember we talked to the guy in the city and he was looking for Crystal Fragments for his art. Now, there's 19 of them to collect and we'll be collecting them all. Along with a few other things. Of course, there's going to be little stone statues to kick over as well. And there'll be a few treasure chests. And I hopefully won't miss anything while I'm here, because it's almost like a maze. This first part here is a big round circle, so you can start by going to the right or the left. I have of course chosen to go to the right, and we're just gonna kick stuff over as we go. Those little platforms, we're gonna come back to those later. We can't do anything with that yellow statue either. Anti-Paralysis Anti-Paralysis Herb. Where to next? Down? Crystal Fragment hiding out. They're kind of hard to differentiate. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's sometimes hard to tell the difference between the crystal fragments that you've already found and the ones that you haven't. So sometimes you're looking for them and you can't find them. Now I noticed that I didn't kick over that stone structure there, and the reason for that is because there are a few in this place that will get you into random battle encounters, and they don't have anything in them. And I am using a guide for this place just to ensure that I get all 19 crystal fragments, because I always usually miss a few of them. But there are, I think, 2 or 3 of them that will actually throw you into a random battle, and I will post that guide for the monster information for this place. The Crimson Forest, of course, has newer, stronger monsters for a whole party, but since I cut them out, information will be posted below. And we find Mack's little shoe.
I wonder if he slipped. You know that kid's not too bright after
But at least we know that we are going the right way, I do suppose.
Mack must be ahead of us. Let's go.
Which is probably the only positive thing about that. I can't imagine wandering around in a forest with only one shoe. There's just a ton of things you could step on. And this is the next screen near Swamp. This place isn't nearly as big. It's got a lot of dead ends and things like that, so it's actually a lot harder to miss things because you can't go around in a big circle. But if you pay close attention to the mini-map on the right-hand side, you should be able to find your way pretty well. You just have to kind of remember where it is you've gone. If you do what I did and just go to one side of the screen first and get it out of your way, then you know you've done that side of the screen. And I think we can walk over that branch. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see things. This game's really dark, and the camera angles hide things, and the writing's small. So sometimes it's really easy to miss things. I think that's it for up here, and also the right hand side of the screen here. So then we just move on to the left hand side. More crystal fragments. There's a ton of these. More crystal fragments. Lots of purple dust. Or I don't even know what that is. I wouldn't say it's dust. It's more like, I don't know. Kind of gives a pretty feel to the place though, with the red leaves and purple air, and then you notice that the ground isn't like a straight brown, it's kind of like a reddish pinkish off hue, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And I think that's actually it for this whole screen. That appears to be a dead end, so I think we can go on ahead. The last stone structure there was a random boss battle, but this one has treasure. Another seed actually, which is nice because those seeds are good things to collect. Yet another crystal fragment. There's never end. And we can go up to the left side here, but doesn't look like there's much here for the time being. But we'll have to remember that location for a later time. And this is the Sorcerer Shrine. Here's another save point and more crystal fragments. So make sure you save here if you haven't saved in a while, before we move on to the next part of the dungeon. And then when you're ready, you can just take the glowing pink rock escalator down. Now in this room, we have to bring the other elevator up. So they give you this big, large rock and you have to move it. Now, this might take me a while, because it's almost difficult with the left joystick to move it, because it'll either move Kaim in a different direction or it'll move the block, and it sometimes gets kind of confusing as to which way the block's going and if it's going in the right direction. So just slowly push the block over, and you're going to want to push it onto the pink escalator that we came down on once you actually finally get it there. Slowly pushing your way over. Alright, one more direction turn and we should be good. There we go. Alright. And when that happens, the other escalator will be brought down. And you notice that there's a nice shining object on the elevator that you'll want to pick up. So we get a table fragment, and then we can move on to the next screen. But we gotta pick up the crystal fragment first. Alright. And on the next screen, I think I'm going to stop. So thank you so much for watching me in Lost Odyssey, and I'll see you all later.